What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming with you guys today because I have some news for you coming from the OCG. Yeah, I know it's been a minute since I did some TCG OCG news, especially on new sets. But I figured we got some cards coming out of Legacy of Destruction, which is going to be the next set coming out for the OCG next year. And funny enough, it's going to be the spring slash it's gonna be the spring set, late spring, early summer set for the TCG. Uh, Probably a May release, if anything. But yeah, it's gonna be literally the 16 years after the release of the Lightsworn. Which actually, if we do correct on that, it probably would. Yeah, no, it's is it 15? Are we 15? Yeah, 15 years in the TCG. Because no, it'll be 16 years in the TCG since Lightsworn came out in Light of Destruction. Legacy of Destruction is now going to be giving this archetype, this 15-year-old archetype, new support in in the last 15. Well, it hasn't been the last 15 years because for those who don't know, the Lightsworn have a ton of support cards that they've been given over the last decade and a half. They've had a structure deck with support for them. They've had a ton. They have a sync. They're about to have two synchros now. They have an Exceed monster who's gorgeous on her artwork, lovely Minerva, and she has a whole story behind her. And then there's just so many different, congruent aspects the um, of the Lightsworn because they're based off of heroic figures and creatures throughout time, and their whole thing was that they gathered these creatures through time to fight against the forces of evil because of their noble spirits. And then, funny enough, um, there's a lot of artwork for them, but one of them is about um, their newer advanced editions, which are the Twilight Storm, which are dark attribute variants of the Light Storm monster that focus on banishing mechanics, as opposed to the Light Storm who focuses on the graveyard. And they work very well coincide, ironically enough. And they're all under the Light Swarm. Now, in the OCE, they're called Light Road, and in some translations, they're called the Light Lords. I think that was simply just because of the fact that they couldn't call them lords in the TCG, so they got them changed to Swarm. And yeah, there's a lot of that. Excuse me, by the way. For that. So we got a ton of new cards that we are going to be looking at to celebrate the return of the Life Swarm. Will this ever? And I was going to say this now. I don't think this will necessarily make them meta, but I think this will be a good start to adding on new support cards for them, so they are more playable if they weren't already. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a look at things. So first off is Dragon of Lightsworn, the Dragoon of the Light Road. This is a level 4 light attribute dragon type monster with 1500 attack and 1300 defense. And you use each of the following effects of this card's name once per turn. If you have a Lightsworn monster in your graveyard, you can summon this card from your hand. If this card is just a summon, you can send one Lightsworn monster card from your deck to the graveyard, except for Dragon of Lightsworn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one dragon monster with 3,000 attack, 2,600 defense from your deck to your hand. So this monster is supposed to be based off of, well, Judgment Dragon, and I believe it's supposed to be a younger variant of Judgment Dragon. Ironically enough, this monster can search for Judgment Dragon as it has 3,000 attack and 2,600 defense, as well as its dark counterpart, Punishment Dragon, who shares the same stat lineup as Judgment, I believe. They could be inverse as well. So don't judge me on that because I don't play a lot of the life form to know. So yeah, bear with me. No, Punishment Dragon in Judgment Dragon both share the same stat. Level 8 level 8 dragon type monsters with 3k attack, 26 defense, except for punishment is light, judgment is dark. Alright. Moving on from there. There has been some confirmation of things in the OCG that they're gonna be called like road, which I've already explained. Now moving on is a particularly new one. This is This is Lice, the Lightsworn Archfiend, which is known in OCG as Light Road Demon Lice. Level 4, Light Attribute Fiend type tuner monsters. 0 attack, 700 defense. You can use each of the following effects of this card's name once per turn. You can place one Lightsworn card from your hand to the top of your deck, and then you can summon this card from your deck. From your hand. Then send the top two cards of your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent from your deck to your graveyard, you can target one Lightsworn monster in your graveyard. Except, excuse me, Vice the Lightsworn Archfiend and special summon it. So this monster's artwork, ironically enough, is a remnant of the was it yeah, the Dark World monster, um, Snow, the Inlight of life. Of, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on things. Snow, the Inlight of Dark World, because funny enough, they share the same level and type, but they have an inverse attack and defense. While one is light attribute, the other one is dark. So it also leads to the story there because funny enough, um, I think it's Dark Smog, where they have Raiko the Lightsworn Beast or Lightsworn Hunter. He's actually being carried into the. He's actually being driven into Dark World, and it's also important to know that the Dark World monsters are technically not evil. They're more so an anti-hero, and it's weird because in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime, they were considered to be villainous. But the thing was that, according to some of the card tags, they're not villainous at all. They're actually pretty vague and neutral. So it's going to be funny to see that how did Snow, in light of the Dark World, become part of the Lightsworn archetype. Very much seems in history. Now here's something I didn't think we'd ever seen. This is Enlightenment Dragon, and the OCG as Enlightenment Dragoon. It's level 10 light attribute dragon type fusion monster, rocking 3k attack and defense. It requires one Judgment Dragon and one Punishment Dragon. Methods is summoned by banishing the above card from your hand and graveyard, one from each. Once return, quick effect, you can pay 2,000 of your life points to manage all of your cards on the field and in the graveyard. Then once a turn during your end phase, you can tap 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Excuse me. If this card is destroyed by your opponent, you can add one each of your banished Judgment Dragon and Punishment Dragon to your hand. Then you can special summon both, ignoring their summoning conditions. So yeah, that's bananas. I'll talk about that in a minute. The next card up is Minerva, the Lightsworn Athena, known in the OCG as Light Road Athena Minerva. She's a level 8 light attribute fairy type synchro monster with 2800 attack and 1800 defense. Requires one tuner plus one or more non tuners. You only use the first and third effect of this card's name once per turn each. If this card is synchro summon, you can send Lightsworn monsters with different types from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of Lightsworn monsters used as material for this card summon. Lightsworn monsters you control cannot be banished by a card effect. You can banish up to 4 Lightsworn monsters from your graveyard to see that many, to see that many cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Of course, this monster is based off of Minerva, who has been an outstanding monster in the Lightsworn archetype. She's an Exceed monster, she's a tuner, and now here she is being a synchro. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Link monster of variant of her. And then last but not least is Lightsworn Aegis, known in the LCG as Lightsworn Aegis. Aegis. This is a normal trap. You can use each of the following sets of this card's name once per turn. Target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Lightsworn monsters you control. Negate their effects until the end of this turn. If this card is sent from your deck to the graveyard, you can set it. So basically, Lightsworn have a way to now have their own Dark Ruler no more. Literally, their own Dark Ruler no more. And what's crazy about this is that it's up to the number of cards that your opponent controls. So you can even hit spells and traps that are on the field in conjunction to the number of life forms that you have, which is crazy. It is crazy. It is bananas how good this card is. Like, this card is outbeating Breakthrough Skill. It's shining on Dark Ruler no more. And simply has the ability to be used by the effects of the Lightsworn and abused by the effects of the Lightsworn. So let me go up and talk about each one. So basically, we have Dragon of the Lightsworn. This thing is basically just going to be helping to get to Judgment Dragon or Punishment Dragon a lot faster. The fact that even that all you have to have is a Lightsworn monster in your graveyard to even just summon it is going to be easy. Because, well, the effects of the life swords, a lot of them mill, a lot of them send cards to the graveyard. So even off of a really bogus mill effect like Lila, or maybe even having Biden hit the field and then trigger his effect, as long as you at least get one life form monster in the graveyard, you're going to be perfectly fine because then you can special summon this card and then go into a ton of your plays off of it. Especially when we're in a format where we can exceed, we can link and do all the crazy things there. Yeah, definitely, definitely have some advantages to this dragon. I do think it's going to be a great utility card for. It is also funny though because there hasn't been any direct cards to search for Judgment Dragon, and now we actually have one. Also, to mention now that we have a Judgment Dragon. Well, I mean, Judgment Dragon has always been part of the Lightsworn. It's just that it didn't have Lightsworn in the actual name. But now we actually have a dragon for the light. Well, we've had some Lightsworn dragons on because I believe I have a level 5 that is cursing there. But yeah, just more so representation of JD in the Lightsworn and his history just growing even more. So, yeah, good boy. All right, moving on from JD, we're going to talk about Slice. And like I said before, yeah, this is probably just the this probably Snow. Maybe Snow did something really good and got offered to be part of the Lightsworn. Or Snow could be a spy. You know, it is implications that hey, you take our dog, we take your we take we take your searcher. Someone said that in the comment section actually here. They said, "Oh yeah, look, Dark World took their pet, so now they're taking their searcher." I think it's ironically funny. Outside of it, I think this is going to be a great addition to Lifeline because now there's another level 4 tuner. It has the ability to put cards from the hand to the top of the deck. That actually helps out with their spell card because you can easily just send it to the graveyard and then drop and get their spell card, get your trap card ready. I don't believe there's too many other important spells of the Life Form, that you would want to mill, except for their new trap. But you know, these are things. It can't say any cards, so you can start sending those dead beasts in your hand back into the top of your deck, and then you can have them go off like crazy. So, or is it wolf? It's wolf, yeah. So you get wolves, going off like crazy, and you can take advantage of wolves. I mean, Lightthorn has always had a way to replenish their hand and fix their hand. Is Global back? I don't think Global was back. But Global would be a great addition to Lightsworn. It was a great addition to Lightsworn because that was just a way to just freely milk stuff. Plague Spreader Zombie, also another good utility for them as well. Because these are really good tuners and setups for their deck to set up their milling situation. Outside of that, I think it's just going to be a decent enough card to run in the deck. But I want to see what Lifeline players are going to be looking at in terms of it. So on, let's actually talk about their extra deck support, their extra deck monster. We have the big boy Enlightenment Dragon. Basically being a massive removal for the field in graveyard. If you combine this with Minerva's ability, you're not going to lose out. You're basically going to get rid of anything that your opponent could potentially do in conjunction to what's on the field in the graveyard. And because this is not being destroyed, it's all being banished. Yeah, you're getting over a lot of card effects that prevent destruction. So definitely a good ups for them. And the fact that if this card is destroyed by your opponent, you get a free summon of both Judgment and Punishment Dragon. So now your opponent has to deal with not one but two big ass dragons with 3k attack on the board. They both can easily wipe the board if they choose to. So yeah, that is ridiculous how good this is. Now, will they actually have the room for it? They'll probably try to fit it in. But honestly, I think it's going to be a great resource to them to have a monster with this much utility. Then Minerva herself, I think it's going to be even more of a utility card, just for the fact that she's going to have that protection effect, so that they can be banished by Enlightenment Dragon, as well as being destroyed by being banished by Punishment Dragons. That's actually not too bad. And then any of the hero and air effects that would try to banish them off as well. Yeah, some really good synchro to set them up. And even then, so she's able to send cards to the graveyard. So that will trigger even more card effects as well, just based off the number of cards she's synchro summon. So I guess people will try to do a bit of the low level synchro climb, like OG synchro era Yu-Gi-Oh, and try to get additional effect going off to get Minerva going. And then, if I already say it, Aegis is going to be a great support card as well, because it's basically going to be a floating, um, it's going to be a floating dark world, dark ruler no more for Lightsworn. And the fact that you can even prep to set this card and then send it to the grave is even crazier, because then it's going to set itself onto the field. And there is no effect that says it's going to banish itself when it leaves the field, so you can find ways to send it back into the deck as well. With I think Michael, the Lightsworn Dragon, yeah. So the Archangel of Lightsworn. So, oh yeah, there's going to be some definite usage of this, but yeah, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good one. So I think it's a pretty solid point to say that Lightsworn is gonna get some more support. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be around for a minute, and do I think it's gonna be competitive? No, it's not gonna be like OG Lightsworn in terms of competitiveness, but it'll be kind of similar to how was it uh was it Fire Kings is doing right now, where like they're easily just coming back onto the game with new support, and they're being seen and they're doing exceptionally well. Maybe not so in the TCG or maybe OCG, but things can happen. So yeah, that's gonna be it for my video today for the new Lightsworn support. Let me know what you guys think about the new Lightsworn additions, and um, what do you see in the future for them? So, with that said, thanks everyone for watching. Of course, I appreciate it dearly. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps me out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to be informed of when I upload more content to my channel. My social media links are in the description box below. And with that said, thanks everyone for watching. HPJ signing out. Take care.